When you're viewing your contacts from the list, another critical thing related to being able to manage your contacts and generate contact lists, exporting this list out, using the filtering tools where you can go in and specify different things you want to filter on, is the ability to actually go in and edit these records. And so in this video, I want to talk briefly about how you manage the data here. Most of it's self-explanatory, but I feel it's necessary, or we think it's necessary, just to talk about it. So first off, on the editing screen, there are some basic things that you'll interact with. These are things that would come back in reports. These are things that you can run queries on. But this contact data includes the name of the person, the different types of versions of a person's name, or the different elements of a person's name. Whether it's they're the first or second or third or junior or senior, their title, doctor, Mr., whatever case might be, their gender, date of birth. You notice here that it's given me an option for baptism. And in general, this section will show you, this little middle section will show you custom attributes that have been promoted to the primary record screen. So in under most circumstances, you'd only see this top information and then the bottom email address, fax number, and all that good stuff. But because on this site we've established a custom attribute to be a primary custom attribute for editing and quickly viewing a record, we've added it to that page. And in another video, we talk about custom attributes. I explained how you get that over here, but suffice to say that this is what that's all about. And then down here at the bottom, you can indicate that a person's a guardian or a child or a visitor. Now, these two are important when you're doing check-in, because this will determine or help to determine whether or not the person shows up when you go and search for records. So there's rules in the check-in kiosk that indicate or allow you to specify how people come back when they're searched. And again, another video talks about that, but in general, that's what these are for. The child designation here is you check that when you don't want the record to have or be allowed to have an email address. That's another thing that comes with that checkbox. In this case, because there's an email address, I can't check this box. The system doesn't necessarily allow you to store email addresses for children. And then if a person's a visitor, meaning they came in over the visitor module, then they would have this checkbox made so that when you run reports for visitors, you'd be able to see those pretty quickly. Other than the basic information about people that we just went over, there's also addresses. There's different types of addresses. Again, all these come back. All this data comes back when you generate a spreadsheet of the contact records that are in the system. But self-explanatory, you got different types of addresses. And in another area, if a person is a user, they can specify what information is allowed to be seen by other users in the system that are in their groups. In general, users that log in are not allowed to see data that the person who owns that data has not made available for them to see. If you're an administrator, obviously you can see this data, but one of the key things about this is that individuals have the ability to manage their own record. Once they create a user account, they can actually go in here, update their address, update their contact information, so that you don't have to worry about the care and feeding of these records as an administrator. But that's generally the core things I want to talk about. Maybe the last thing I'll go over here is that you can also edit groups from the screen. We've already talked about how you can put people in groups. There's a bunch of ways to do it. You can do it from the group manager. You can add people to groups actually from the listing, which we talked about in another video. But here you have the ability to add people to groups by editing their contact record and selecting what groups they should be in. You can't make them leaders of groups from here as you could in the group manager, but you can at least add them to a group in a quick way. And another thing this lets you do is it lets you see what groups a person is in when you're doing a review of their contact record.